Okay, so imagine this. A single shoulder-fired missile weighing just 40 pounds might have taken down one of the most advanced fighter jets in the US arsenal. That's the kind of story we're starting with today.
And it's not just about the missile, it's about the global ripple effects. Let's get into it.
Welcome to DeActa Daily Digest. I'm Joseph.
And I'm Juniper. Here are today's top stories.
Let's start with the US F-15E Strike Eagle that was shot down over southwestern Iran last month. Reports suggest it was likely hit by a Chinese-made shoulder-launched missile. That's a pretty significant development, don't you think?
It really is. The F-15E is a symbol of U.S. air superiority. So for it to be brought down by a relatively low-cost portable weapon is a big deal. And then there's the geopolitical angle. If China is supplying these weapons to Iran, it complicates an already tense relationship between the U.S. and China.
Exactly. These man-portable air defense systems, or MANPADS, are designed to be effective against low-flying aircraft, and they're relatively easy to transport and deploy. But the fact that this missile might have Chinese origins raises some serious questions about Beijing's role in the region.
What's even more concerning is the possibility that China also provided Iran with a long-range early warning radar system. If that's true, it means Iran could detect and target aircraft that are specifically designed to evade detection, like the F-15E.
And that changes the game entirely. The U.S. has long relied on its technological edge in conflicts, but if adversaries like Iran are getting access to advanced systems from countries like China, it levels the playing field in a way that's deeply unsettling.
It's also worth noting the timing here. This incident comes as the U.S. is trying to negotiate a ceasefire with Iran, while also managing its relationship with China. It's a high-stakes balancing act, especially with China being a major purchaser of Iranian oil.
Right. And let's not forget the rescue operation for the F-15 crew. The pilot was rescued within 7 hours, and the weapons systems officer managed to evade capture for 2 days before being rescued. That's a testament to the skill and coordination of U.S. forces, but it also underscores the risks they face in the region.
And then there's the political side of it. President Trump publicly said that President Xi assured him China wasn't supplying weapons to Iran. But if these reports are accurate, it raises questions about the credibility of those assurances.
That's a good point. Publicly, Trump might want to project confidence in China's promises, but behind the scenes, U.S. intelligence seems to be keeping a close eye on Beijing's actions. It's a delicate dance, to say the least.
And then there's the broader historical context. China has sold arms to Iran in the past, especially during the 1980s and 1990s. But after the 2006 UN arms embargo, those sales reportedly decreased. Still, there's evidence that China has continued to supply dual-use technologies that can be used for both civilian and military purposes.
And those dual-use technologies can be just as impactful as outright weapons sales. For example, the report mentioned allegations that China allowed Iran access to satellite imagery to help target U.S. forces. That's a whole other dimension of modern warfare.
It really is. And it's not just about weapons or technology, it's about influence. By supporting Iran, even indirectly, China is asserting its role as a major player in the region. And that has ripple effects for U.S. foreign policy.
Absolutely. Let's move on to our second story, which is a bit of a departure but equally intriguing. It's about Fate Therapeutics, a biotech company that's been making waves in the stock market. Their share price has climbed 135% over the past year, but the company is still burning through cash. What do you make of that?
It's a classic case of high risk, high reward. Investors are clearly optimistic about the company's potential, but the risks of a cash-burning company running out of funds are very real. Fate Therapeutics currently has about $175 million in cash and no debt, which gives them a runway of roughly 19 months at their current spending levels.
That's not a lot of time in the biotech world, where research and development can take years. And while they've managed to reduce their cash burn by about 14% year over year, their operating revenue has dropped by 53%. That's a concerning trend.
It really is. The drop in revenue raises questions about the company's ability to sustain its operations and eventually turn a profit. And if they need to raise more funds, they'll have to consider the impact on shareholders. Issuing new shares could dilute the value for existing investors, while taking on debt comes with its own risks.
It's a tough spot to be in. But what's interesting is that despite these challenges, the company's stock has performed exceptionally well. It shows how much faith investors have in the potential of biotech companies, even when the fundamentals might not look great on paper.
That's true. Biotech is one of those industries where a single breakthrough can make or break a company. Investors are essentially betting on the promise of future rewards, even if the current numbers don't add up.
It's a fascinating dynamic. Okay, let's move on to our final story, which takes us back to the Middle East. This one's about the so-called ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah, or rather, the lack thereof. Northern Israelis woke up to rocket barrages from Hezbollah, despite what was supposed to be a ceasefire.
It's heartbreaking. Residents in towns like Kiryat Shmona were forced back into shelters as rockets rained down. The military reported intercepting most of the rockets, but one did strike the city center, causing heavy damage to stores and businesses.
And the timing of this is significant. The rocket fire occurred just an hour after talks at the Pentagon between Israeli and Lebanese military delegations. It's almost as if Hezbollah was sending a message.
That's exactly how it seems. The talks didn't yield much, with Lebanon reportedly seeking a ceasefire while Israel demanded Hezbollah's disarmament. Those are two fundamentally opposing positions, so it's no surprise the talks didn't lead to an immediate resolution.
What's striking is the frustration of the residents. One local official called it a ceasefire in name only. You can really feel the exhaustion and anger in their voices.
It's a grim reminder of how fragile ceasefires can be in this region, and while the U.S. described the talks as productive, it's clear that there's still a long way to go. The underlying issues, territorial disputes, Hezbollah's presence in Lebanon, aren't going to be resolved overnight.
No, they're not. And in the meantime, civilians on both sides are caught in the crossfire. It's a tragic situation with no easy answers.
So, we've covered a lot today: geopolitical tensions, corporate challenges, and ongoing conflict. What are your key takeaways?
For me, it's the interconnectedness of these stories, whether it's China's involvement in Iran, the financial strategies of a biotech company, or the fragile peace in the Middle East. Everything is part of a larger web of global dynamics.
Well said. It's a reminder that no issue exists in isolation. Thanks for the conversation today. It's always enlightening.
Likewise, until next time.